Thank you, everybody, for joining us today at the OTC Club. Today, our guest is Scalpit. If you can go ahead and follow the OTC Club and follow all your hosts and tweet out the room. And just a reminder that this spaces is being recorded. Thank you very much. Hey, Scalpit, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You got this. You got this. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty good.
I want to thank you guys for inviting me on here. And to be honest, I was really surprised because I don't really have much to say when it comes to trading. I have a method that I follow. It's been working for me personally, and I'm happy to share, whatever knowledge that I have with anybody that has any questions for me. But I don't have any answers to any secrets because there are no secrets to the market, and as far as I'm concerned. It's just really observation, and sentiment and lack of emotion to me. That's how I view the whole entire market. Big board, little board, it doesn't matter. Sentiment. We're trading sentiment. So if that's what we're going to talk about, I think we're going to have a good time.
Let's do it.
And I think you commented the other day too. You're like, I'm excited. You're like, I have a lot to talk about. I was like, let's go.
Oh yeah, I do. I have a lot to talk about because sentiment is everything.
Yes.
Emotion is everything. It's that's what the algorithms are programmed off of. They have teams of people that write these algorithms that we trade against, and those algorithms are supposed to counteract human emotion. That's all it is. That's trading. The market makers are basically fighting against your emotion, and that's where the losses come in. Absolutely. For retail.
Let's start with, getting to know you. I'm super excited to hear everyone's voice all the time because all we know is each other on Twitter every time. And I'm always wondering, like, how does this person sound? Or how is their, like, personality and stuff? Like, could you start with telling us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, well, I've been trading for maybe, almost 20 years. I do work full time. Not for long, but I do work full time. And I learned the market in my early 20s, I want to say. I have an uncle that I've always looked up to because he started from nothing, and he was able to use the market to build himself up. He didn't get rich off of it, but he was able to at least buy his home off of it and start a business with the money he made off of it. And it really shows that this country, the United States, provides the opportunity for people to make a whole lot of everything out of a whole lot of nothing. And even though the market is global, we've had the most exposure to it. And a lot of the opportunities originate here out of the United States trading markets. And it's just, if you have conviction and if you have the ability to be patient and study and learn from other people's mistakes, the sky's the limit. I mean, I know people with no education that do very, 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 no formal education, I should say, that do very well because they've learned to master the market. So when I saw that at a younger age, I saw my uncle do it. It sparked interest in me. And ever since then, I've been learning. Every day I learn. I learn from people that have 2 weeks time trading, and I learn from people that have 50 years time trading. Every day is a learning experience.
Okay. So. And since you mentioned your uncle a few times, and you've mentioned that he introduced you to trading in the I guess it was not a direct way, but an indirect way. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you started trading? Just a little deeper into that story.
Sure. When he used to come over, we have a very close family. My father has 8 brothers and sisters, and we're all within the same municipality. So all the holidays, all of the family events, there was like always 50 or 60 people at these events. And he would come in and, his brothers would ask my other uncles, hey, how's the market? And I would, I was younger and I would listen to his response. And he would tell them, we're family. So he would share, he wasn't, he never restricted, his failures, and he never restricted his accomplishments when he would talk to the family about what he was doing. So I would listen. And so I would start, Googling and reading books. And the information back then wasn't really available as it is now. There was no Twitter. There was no, it was all iHub or YouTube or Google, that was it. And iHub, forget about iHub. That's terrible. That's where I learned a lot of mistakes from. But he sparked that interest. And so I started paying attention and I started looking at the markets. But then the real big change came in 2008 when I started getting real deep in the market because it crashed. And I saw opportunity. As inexperienced as I was, I saw massive opportunity in it. Because he walked in one day and he said, Ford's at $1, right? Ford Motor Company. And I'm like, Ford's at $1, that can't be right. I didn't know what the hell Ford valuation was supposed to be, but I knew it wasn't $1.
Yeah.
And then Citibank was under $1.
Wow.
Las Vegas Sands was under $2. So Las Vegas Sands was like an $80 or $90 company. Now I didn't know what they were supposed to be, but I was like, wait a minute.
Sounds wrong.
Yeah, something ain't right here. So I go and I start looking up these companies, and Las Vegas Sands was an $80 company sitting under $2. Citibank under $1.
Wow.
So that's when I started really learning, right? So I've been doing it for a very long time, but I didn't really start doing it until 2008, 2009, 2008. That's when I started figuring out that, wait a minute, this is all bullshit. And it is. Because why did it go from $80 to $2? $80 to $2, right?
Right.
We just saw it in COVID. Why did it go? Why did Expedia go from 60 to 10? Because of sentiment, right? Fear.
Mm-hmm.
Sentiment changed. Nothing else changed. Yeah, sales are going to be down for 18 months, but we're trading forward looking anyway.
Right.
So there's opportunity there. So that's when I started getting really big.
That's amazing.
So basically, you bought the dip. You bought the 2008 dip.
Right. Yeah, I bought the dip. I bought the dip in 2008, and I've been buying the dip since.
Yeah, that's a good way to get in there too and start. So do you just do OTCs, or do you also do like big boards, crypto? Like, what else do you trade?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I didn't really discover the OTC until 2016, 2017.
Oh, wow.
There was a stock that pretty much murdered just about every quote unquote vet, because the CEO was a son of a bitch, right? He was a liar, but he was a public liar. It's not like people were talking to him on the side. He was having conference calls and making promises to people publicly, and people believed it, and people believed in his product. I'm not going to mention the ticker because there are probably some people that are in it, and I don't like to hurt.
Right.
I don't like to hurt any stock, even if I think it's a piece of shit. If I don't like a stock, I won't trade it. I will not bash it. I will not, make an argument as to why I'm not interested in it. I'll just, live and let live. And so I discovered the OTC in 2016, 2017. I trade big boards. I do a lot of options. I'll trade options quietly. I try not to put out too much of my option trades because, those are complete losses if I'm wrong. And I don't want to share an idea unless it's a lotto, right? Like I'll tweet out lotto options all the time. Yeah. Well, a lotto is what, a couple $100 if you're going to go in with a lotto. So I'll trade options. That's why my name is Scalpit, actually, because you catch the bottom on an option and you get out an hour later, you can make 100, 200%, right? So my name is kind of more geared towards the big board option swings than opposed to OTC, because I hold OTCs forever. I don't scalp anything in the OTC. And if I do, I'm not tweeting about it.
Okay.
So.
And that's something that I wanted to know too, because of the way you trade and your name. I was just like kind of confused, like Scalpit. But yeah,
it's really me. My name should be Hold It Forever. That's what my name should be.
Oh, mine too.
Yeah,
I'm Junior.
Diamond hands right there.
Right. It's not even diamond hand. I just buy a stock, and when I buy something, there's a reason I buy it. Right? I don't buy it because of volume. I don't buy it because 50 people are tweeting it. And if I do buy one of those, I don't share the idea. I just get in and get out, right?
Mhm.
I won't contribute to whatever is causing it to move if I don't believe in the company,
Mm-hmm.
or if I don't believe in the trade, right? So if I buy something, I usually take a significant position in whatever I'm convicted on.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take that significant position, I'll just buy it and I'll hold it. Even if I have to hold it a year, I'll hold it until that catalyst that I was looking for comes, and then I'll decide whether I want to exit or stay. So
Yeah.
that my whole Scalpit, yeah, I scalp every day.
Mm-hmm.
I scalp options, big boards, pre-market. Pre-market, you can do it. You can make a killing if you know what to look for, and that's where my original name came from.
Good to know.
Yeah, I love that. But yeah, so we talked about some trades you made. We talked about some shitty trades in the OTC that happened. So tell me about your most successful trade thus far.
That's a big question. Uh, if you're
Tell me,
talking about just
yeah,
ever, right, the most successful trade ever
yeah, let's do that.
would probably be Naked, NAKD,
Mm-hmm.
and it was actually very recent.
Wow.
It was January of this year because the sentiment at the time, or was it February? It was the beginning of this year, quarter one. The sentiment at the time was no Nasdaq stock under $1, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same way we had the sentiment from the trips, right? Everything that was trip one was going to 002, 003, no matter what it was. Didn't even matter. There was that stock with like 40 trillion outstanding. I forgot what it was,
That,
HCMC or
oh,
something like that.
you how can
Oh
you
my
forget that?
goodness.
How
Do you
can you
remember that
forget
one?
that? How
Yes.
And I'm like, no way.
that is
There's
the
no
stock
way this
of
is gonna
all time
move.
right there.
Yeah, and it went from triple, like not even trip. It was like quad or quintuple one.
To 0065.
Was that the top? Like that?
Yep.
That's stupid.
It was
I mean,
insane.
good for whoever made a killing on that try. I never touched it. I am thrilled for whoever had the balls to actually take
Right.
that trade
Right.
and make 10, 20, 30, whatever times their money. But
Mm-hmm.
that was the sentiment, right? That was what was moving the markets. There was
Exactly.
no trip. I mean, people were tweeting trips. This one hasn't moved yet. Well, okay. What is it? We don't know, but it hasn't moved yet, so it's gonna go. And they were right, right?
Oh,
It could be a dead company, but it was a trip, and we knew that no matter what happened, if it was under 001, it was
mhm.
gonna go. And that was the atmosphere, right? That was the atmosphere in the market. So when I saw Naked, it was at like 30, I want to say 30 cents or something, 30, 31, 30, 31, 32 cents.
Well,
At the beginning of the year, I went in big. I went in really big. And I knew eventually, the NASDAQ twin or FinTwit would get to it. I knew, right? So
Yep.
I figured, let me get in before they do. Because I was nobody. I'm a nobody, right? I'm a quiet, I get on Twitter, I'll share my trade ideas, but I can't move a stock, or I don't want to move a stock. I'll tell people, hey, this is why I'm buying this, and if you're interested, join me. And if you're not, it is what it is. But I tweet something that doesn't move, and I don't want it to move, to be honest with you. So I figured, let me get in before they do, and I did, and I went in really big, and I think I went 10 times, 10 times or 11 times. Uh, but when you go in big, right, it's not my highest percentage win, but it was my highest dollar win uh,
mhm.
historically.
Make-
So, okay. That's great. And I wish I had gotten in Naked as well because I know and I don't know how you knew, but everyone did get on it, and by the time it came around to where I saw it, I was like it's too late. Like it's way too late. But congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What do you think that your biggest mistakes you have made when, learning how to trade? You started in what, 08, 09, up to present, like the biggest mistake you've made that actually taught you the biggest lesson in trading.
Chasing,
Yes.
uh, chasing FOMO, and look, I still do it. right? And if people tell you they don't do it, then every trade they have is green, right? For
Right.
the most part. You hold the stock, right? And let's just use like an arbitrary ticker symbol, ABCD. You own a stock ABCD, and you're down on it 20%, right? You paid $1 for it, sitting at 80 cents, and you see, all of a sudden this stock is taken off, and you're like, you know what? I'm tired of staring at this 20% or 30% loss ticker, and you sell it. You take your loss, right? So now you sell it for 70. Say you put in $1,000, and now you sell it for 700, and all you got is your $700, and you go and you buy the top on the stock that you're chasing, and then that stock comes down, right? So now your 700 is 400, and you sell for that loss, and then you do it again, and then you do it again, then you blow up your account, and
Right.
then you make another deposit, and you see all this pumping going on the next ticker, and you chase it, and you buy the top, or you get to the top and you don't sell it because you're greedy,
Right.
and you think it's going to go 5 times from the 10 times it's already gone, and now you're bag holding, you're the last one out.
Yep.
It's don't be greedy, don't be stupid. And the problem is, we're all greedy, we're all naive, we all think everything's going to go higher,
Mm-hmm.
and we all still do it. You know what I mean? And we all still do it. Maybe not as bad as we used to when we first started, right? Not everything is a humble, not everything is a Lucy where it goes from subs to $1. Not every trade is like that. So securing a little bit of profit on the way up, I'm not saying exit your position completely, but securing a little bit of profit on the way up will protect your money. And that's your money. That's not your followers' money, or that's not the person you're following's money. That's your money. Scale a little bit, scale a little bit on the way up, make sure that you are taken care of. And if you lose the rest of the trade, you're still on top. The
Exactly.
trade is not just one trade. It's not, I bought at 1 and I exited at 10. No, I bought at 1 and I exited a little bit at 5. I exited a little bit at 8. I exited the rest at 10. And then I got bagged on the rest that I held, and it went back to 1. But you still got, a little bit of money in your pocket. Trade is fluid, right? So not being fluid and just holding and holding and holding and never taking any profit, that's the hardest part, right? When you believe too much in any stock, OTC or big boards, you got to take profit. If you don't, then what are you doing it for?
I completely agree. And sometimes, even though you've been trading for a while, you'll get that one stock that, like, this thing is going to move, this thing is going to run, and then you're just holding and holding, and it's going down. every,
Absolutely.
yeah, every
Absolutely.
now and
Euphoria
then.
is the number one sell signal. When you feel euphoric, when you see a stock and you're in it and you're up 2,000% and you're on cloud 9 and you're thinking, holy shit, I'm about to buy $1 million house in cash.
So
If I hold it for 2 more weeks and it's going to go 20 times from the 20 times it's already went, that's your sell signal. That's when it's time to start taking, at least take some off the table.
that's a good. That's a good.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah,
No,
I mean, think about
yeah.
it. If you feel high, right now, I don't smoke, but if you feel high off of a stock, that means the 10,000 other people in that stock feel just as high as you do, and to them, that's the top, and they're going to start selling, and then someone else is going to start selling, and that stock's going to come down, right? That's the dip.
Mhm.
Take some, or take some before it gets there. Take a little bit off, put some shares on the ask on the way up. Take some money, put it back in your pocket, right? Put it back in your account. Take some money out of your account, right? So that you pay yourself, so that you can realize, what it is that you're doing, realize some of those profits. And, even if you get bagged on 50% of your shares, you still made money on the other 50%. And you only
Right.
have to beat, to win a trade, you got to be right 51% of the time, right? Be green 51% of the time. And that's a win.
Yeah, so we call a friend of mine. We call it that "oh shit" moment. When you look at your account, you're like, "Oh shit," that means it's time to sell.
Yeah, that's that euphoria, right? You get that
Mhm,
euphoria, and
mhm.
might not be time to close, right? It might not be
Yeah.
time to close a position. Like I said, oh shit, every 20 minutes on Naked when it went from 30 cents to 30.50 to $3.50,
Uh huh.
and actually I did sell just about the top on Naked, 100%. I held it all, and it was stupid because it was a lot of money. But
Mm-hmm.
I got lucky, and I did sell almost the top on Naked. But the proper way to trade it, to trade anything really, is to exit, 5, 10, 15, 20% of your position on various levels on the way up. And that way, if it crashes or if the company does something stupid, like make an offering right when it's hot, or dilute, or whatever, and the stock crashes down, at least you got out with some money, or at least you're buying, right? Protect what's yours.
Yeah, protect that capital. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scalpit, I'll jump in here too, guys. You're nailing it exactly, and I'm perfect example for that. When I started back in September, I was ride the hills, ride the valleys. Everything's going to $1. I need a lottery ticket, and I wrote TSMP, NZC all the way up, and I didn't sell on the way up. Not at all. Didn't sell top. I sold halfway down the bottom. And now I trade like a robot. I'll buy in. I'll get size and scale at my entry. I'll average up until I feel it's overvalued, and I will scale out along the way up, and then I'll hold the tail. So exactly what you're preaching is you got to take your profits and then hold the rest for the run. And if it turns out being $1, maybe you still got 20% of your holdings, and then that makes you that big bang. But 8 times out of 10, that's not going to happen. So take the money on the way up. Good
Yeah,
call.
absolutely. That's what you're doing it for.
Mm-hmm.
100% on a stock is a big deal. It's a big deal. You put in $5,000 and it's 10 grand. That's 10 grand. That's $10,000, right? That's $5,000 profit. My monthly salary is just around $5,000 or $6,000. And I've been in the public sector for almost 20 years. And people work 40, 50 hours a week to make $5,000, and traders are making $5,000 a trade, and they say it's not enough. Fuck out of here.
Right.
It's enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's enough. At least it's enough to consider taking some profit. Take profit a little bit. I'm not saying exit, but secure. Secure some money.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be greedy, because there's always another trade tomorrow. There's a trade. There's 10 trades a day if you know how to find them. That you can actually be successful at.
I agree with that.
I'd rather make $100, every hour trading consistently than make $5,000 a trade and then lose 9 trades after that. Just be consistent. Find something that works. To me, that's what works for me.
Yeah.
I find what works and I stick with it. And I still make mistakes, right? We all do.
Yeah, we all do. We really do.
Absolutely.
So you talked about your trading a little bit, and you talked about some things that you do, you scale in and out and things of that nature, but give us a little bit more direction about your trading strategy, and how did you come up with this strategy, your strategy?
Okay. I gave you like the example of Naked, right?
Mm-hmm.
I knew eventually they would get to it, right? No, there was not a single stock on NASDAQ, and I'm sure you all remember it because this was just the beginning of 2020. There was not a single stock on NASDAQ that didn't go back over $1, right? Naked went from like 6 cents from its low to 350, but the pump, quote unquote, didn't come to it until that sentiment there, like nothing under $1 sentiment showed up. Same thing with OTC, right? Nothing. There was going to be no trips left from like November through February, which was the most insane OTC run I've ever seen, or probably anybody has ever seen. Right? Nothing was going to be in the trips. Right? That was the atmosphere. That was the sentiment. So my strategy is, let me find a good setup, because I know eventually this stock, they'll get to it. And when I say they, I mean the market. Right? The market will get to it. So I look for stocks that I know that could move maybe in a month or 2 months. I don't care, and I buy all I can. Right? I buy as much as I legally can. Right? You can't go more than 4.99% without being considered an affiliate of a company. So I'll buy as much as I can afford. Right? And I'll just leave it there. And if it goes up, it goes up. If it goes down, it goes down. But I will not sell until the story starts. Right? Until it catalyzes, until the company speaks. So what I do is I look for setups. I look for companies that have little to no debt, right? That don't have a soiled history, that have a decent float. And here's the thing, low float, right? What the idea of what a low float is fluid. A few years ago, you see a company with 2 billion, it wouldn't touch it. No one would touch it. Nobody with experience would touch it. Because how did it get to 2 billion? You know, they diluted it to shit. How did it get to 3 billion? No one would touch it. Now, because of the number of traders that are involved in the OTC, because that's up like 5 or 6 times, right? If 10,000 people traded the OTC in 2019, if 10,000 people were trading back, 50,000 are trading it now. So that's why these fatties that they call, that's why they move, because there's more people buying these shares. So a 2 billion float now, right, as long as they're not diluting, is considered a medium-sized float. It's no longer considered a fatty. Even 10 billion shares are moving, right? HCMC moved. How did it move? Because 100,000 people were buying it. It didn't matter that it was a fatty because people weren't buying 1 million shares. They were buying 50 million shares, right? It's proportional. So I look for what I think is a low float for the time being, right? Right now in this sentiment, right, in this market, anything 5 billion and down is going to move if it's got a good story, right? If they got something to tell you, if there's some catalysts coming and they're not diluting, right? They're not fucking up with dilution. And you buy and you wait and you let the company drive and you ride that, you're going to make money. So I try to find that trade before the market does. And I buy what I want and I wait. And that's on big boards, that's on OTC, that's on whatever.
And that's facts.
Just dropping facts.
Then
What
that's
indicators, like, do you use any indicators? Like when you're trading, what indicators do you use?
It depends on what I'm trading, right? So if it's an active company, like if the company right now, if we're in the middle of a run, right, the indicators that I'll use are completely different than, pre-run or post-run, or it's flatlined, right? It's a flatline stock. Indicators don't mean shit. No one's on it. No one's talking about it. The company's silent. It's a dead stock, but I like the setup, right? So I'll just buy. I'll just keep buying it and buying it because the indicators will come right back down. If I'm the only one buying it, the indicators will come right back down. But the best indicator for me is the tape. Level 2, and volume.
Okay.
That's it. The tape is very, very telling, right? The tape tells you, it tells you emotion, right? It tells you excitement. It tells you fear. It's like the candlestick, same thing, and volume, right? If there's a lot of volume on something, then and the tape is coming out more green than it is red, and block sizes are bigger and bigger and bigger, you can trade off of the tape without even looking at the chart. If you see and level 2, you add level 2 to that, level 2 of the tape and volume, you can trade blindly. You don't even have to know the ticker. You don't have to know what they do. Just watch it. Just keep watching it. You don't even have to trade. Keep watching it, right? Keep watching. You'll learn how it works. You'll learn the algorithm. It's like muscle memory. You'll learn the emotion, right? You'll see the retail reaction. You'll see how the market makers react to that reaction. You can see the algo flip a lot of times. And you can trade off of that if you're just going to day trade, right? So that's, to me, is the tape. It's all about the tape. Where's the market mentality on this particular stock? Are they excited or are they not?
That's so interesting. It's like interesting to know, like, we do this every week and we interview you guys, like our favorite traders, and everyone's different, like on their indicators. And yours is cool. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it works for me, right? It might not work for other people. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'll use RSI. I'll use MACD. I'll use on balance volume. OBV is very important to me. The SMAs are critical, right? SMAs are basically what people have paid for the stock over these last several days or weeks or months, right? That's where the price action is going to be, at the SMA. So those are all very important. I'm not saying disregard them, but when it comes to me, if I'm trading a stock long, I don't even care what the indicator is, because the catalyst hasn't hit. My buy indicator my sell indicator is euphoria. My buy indicator is fear, right? As long as they're not diluting. If they're diluting, then, it's time to go.
Right.
Unless the story is good, right? If the story is good, I don't care. I'll buy the dilution. There was a stock that BMO gave out a couple years ago. It was SHMP. And he told everybody, hey, they're diluting, right? And it was like 006 or 008 or whatever. Well, he's an honest man. He told people they're diluting. But we're gonna chew through it. And that they fucking diluted from 006 all the way through, I think it was like $1 or whatever. I don't know what it hit, 98 cents or 93. They diluted. But their story was good enough to consume whatever it is that the market consumed, whatever they were diluting, chewed through it, and it ran all the way to $1, right? Because they had the story to back up what they were selling, right? The shares that they were selling. And the market devoured the dilution. That stock went from 006 to $1 with hundreds of millions of shares diluted. So,
Scalpit, you're on point there. I'll jump in because Bevo, I think, was on this one with me talking about dilution. A lot of people laughed when I called CGAC at low 001s. I said they're diluting like crazy. They diluted all the way down from 3 cents. I think they diluted like 1.5 billion shares. And I said, I'm going to load this, guys. It's heavy dilution. I think BMO, believe you were on it as well.
yeah.
And people laughed. And what did that do? It sat there. People were eating the shares, big bids, and that thing just rocketed back up to 0.038. So whoever got in when I said it is 100, and me and BMO said it is what 150%.
Right.
So sometimes it turns, right? But know it and be honest.
Absolutely,
about it, right?
It's going to turn. And why will it turn? Right? It depends. Yeah. If does it have a story? Well, it's pink current, right? So they're not going to suspend it unless they do something fucking bogus, something illegal.
Karen Courier, the consultant, same consultant as ILUS,
right?
Is my
and that's a story, right?
Read.
That's a factor in your decision to buy and hold, right? Because ILUS went, it went up. A lot of her stocks do really well, and at 002, 001, 0015, even if I think there was like $1 million in notes. So you can kind of do a rough calculation. How much have they diluted, right? How much would be left? At what time? At what rate did it dilute? So say figure maybe there's like 500 million shares left to come out. I don't know what the number is. I haven't looked at it recently. And then you calculate what the AS would be, right? Or the OS would be. Say the OS is going to be 3 billion and it's still sitting at 003. Well, we're seeing 3 billion share tickers run to a nickel, right? Or higher. 100%. So that's the sentiment, right? That's the market atmosphere, and you have to trade that. 5 years ago, a ticker with 3 billion, and you told me, "Hey, man, this company they're gonna do A, B, and C." I'll tell you, get the fuck out of my face. I'm not buying that garbage.
Right.
But now
we're still under 2 billion.
Right now, you have 5 to 10 times more people trading OTC than you did a few years ago. So that's 5 to 10 times more money, right? So you have to cut these parameters down by 80%. Because you got that much more money flowing into the market, and so the limits change, right? The parameter changes, the market sentiment changes, and you have to be fluid with it. If you guys remember over the summer, right, the stocks, and everybody was fucking pissed off at everybody else. Oh, it's pump and dump, and then stock would pop 200%, and the same day it would close red. It was get out as soon as it popped, right? That was the sentiment for like 16 weeks. It was terrible. And everybody blamed everybody, and that was the sentiment.
It was everyone's
every summer.
Yeah, that's go away in May. They've been saying that for 100 years. Go away in May.
Every summer.
Shit doesn't change, but because you have a lot of new traders that don't know. They don't know that the summer sucks in the OTC. The summer is the time to buy quietly, accumulate your conviction plays, and then you sell those in the fall and in the winter when they catalyze, and you're up 2,000% on them. You don't fight each other, don't hate each other. Look for what you like. Do your DD. Don't ever buy blind. If I tweet something, don't go buy the stock. Right? Don't trust me. Nobody should trust me. Don't trust me. Don't trust them. Trust yourself.
Exactly.
Trust yourself. So when you make a mistake, that's on you. Don't come knocking on my door telling me, "Hey, man, you said this was a good stock at a penny. Now it's at 005." Well, okay, I was wrong. You know, it wasn't a good trade. My bad. Oops.
Yeah. There's a
You know,
lot of that, man. It's so freaking
Yeah. People lack accountability, and I noticed that, but we're not going to go into that because I could go into that whole damn OTC club episode. So,
we have
yeah,
to be accountable. Look,
uh
if
huh,
somebody puts out bullshit, right, then fuck you, right? Then yes, it's on if they're lying to 20,000 followers, or 10,000 followers, or 2,000 followers. If they're lying, right, if they're pumping a stock so they can get out, then you're a piece of shit. But if you share a trade idea, right, and you explain, well, I like this because of A, B, and C, and then it doesn't go well, right? You were wrong, right? Everybody's wrong. That's not on you. You made a bad trade. You shared the idea. Those that liked your idea decide to follow you into that trade, and you were wrong. That's not on you. I don't blindly. I mean, there's some traders that can tell me something, and they're like, "Yo, Scalpit, buy this," and I won't even ask them. I would just buy it because they've never lied to me before, ever. And if they're wrong, I don't blame them. Right? That's the cost of doing business. We are traders. Sometimes we trade green. Sometimes we trade red. It's nobody's fault. Right? When you make money, everybody high fives, right? And you can see it on Twitter. It's hilarious. When stocks are moving and everything is pumping and everything is people are making money hand over fist. We tag each other, and we love each other, and we take pictures of steaks or whatever it is. I like to take pictures of scotch. We have a good time. Everybody's laughing. Everybody's liking everybody's comments. Then you have a dip in the market, and all of a sudden everybody's an asshole. Why? Why? This is part of, there has to be red. You can't, you're not going to be at the top. The stock's not going to make a new high every goddamn day for weeks. It doesn't work that way. But if you secure profits on the way up, then you're not so mad at red days because you're sitting on
mm,
cash. I
yeah.
mean,
Hit a punching bag. You heard that, you guys.
right.
Do something else with your spare time. You
Yeah.
get
I
angry for
mean,
no reason.
there's people,
punch
and
the
then people
wall.
take,
Take a knee.
I have a lot to say because I've been doing this. I'm not a vet. I don't call myself a vet. I don't call myself
I
a pro.
love that.
I'm not, right? I'm not a vet. I'm not a pro. I'm a trader, right? I trade. I trade what's in front of me. So when you see people come out and they start bashing, right? And they start saying, well, this is overvalued, or this is undervalued, or this market cap is too high, or this market cap is too low. I look at it and I'm like, this is stupid. I mean, you show me a market cap of $1 billion, right? $1 billion, and they have no revenue. I could sit there and say, well, this market cap is too high, but the stock's sitting at $1. Well, apparently I'm wrong because the market thinks this stock is worth $1. And no matter what you do, no matter how much you bash this stock, it refuses to go below $1. And I'm saying, well, it's overvalued. It's overvalued. I don't decide what the value of a stock is. You don't decide. The market decides, right? The ones pulling the triggers, they decide how valuable a stock is. Now I'm talking about OTC, right? I'm not talking about big board. Well, this stock is over. This is a piece of shit. Well, you look at the books, it's got no revenues. Well, it's got no liabilities either. So what are you investing in? You're investing in an idea. What is the story they're telling? Like private equity. You got people that go out and raise hundreds of millions of dollars in private equity, right? A non-trading security from investors. Right? They have an idea. They're gonna create a company that makes flying electric vehicles or whatever, and they raise $2.5 billion. You're gonna come out and say, well, they don't have any revenues. Well, of course they don't have any revenues, right? They're investing in the idea of what this may become. So don't come out and start bashing a stock and start saying, well, it's overvalued. Look at the books. They have no revenues, but the market cap's at 40 million. Okay, so what? Big deal, right? And vice versa. Don't say this is undervalued. The market cap's at 10 million and should be at 50 million. Well, based on what? The market will decide what the value of a stock is, not your opinion. So don't, this whole hating, bashing, hollow pumping. Don't hollow pump either. I don't like it. It's People will do it because they're excited, and there's nothing wrong with being excited about a trade you're in, right? Like I'm excited about every trade I'm in, even if I'm red on it. if I see a trade, right, and I'm like, okay, I bought stock XYZ for a nickel, and I think, in my opinion, I think it can go to 20 cents or a dollar or 50 cents or whatever, right? I believe that. But I have to give you a reason why, right? I'm not going to tell you, well, the reason why it should be at $1 is because, TSMP is at $1. Well, TSMP was a different atmosphere, right? It had a different story than this stock. I don't care if the share structures are similar. It does tell you that it's capable of getting to $1, right? If the market believes that it can. So this is the next, ABCD, or this is the next XYZ. Sure, it can be, but does the market believe that? So I'm not going to sit there and say, buy this stock at a penny. We're taking this motherfucker to $1. No, we're not. The market will decide. The sentiment will decide. I'm buying it at this price. And that's why sometimes I'll screenshot some of my buys, because, people want to feel like you're trading with. I don't like having a lot of followers, right? This is new to me. I didn't have this many followers a year ago. I had like 800 followers. This is all new. So, when you have a lot, you become very selective as to what you tweet. And I'm red on a lot of the stocks that I buy. I'm very red. I have no shame in that. But I guarantee you I'm going to sell most of those green, because I have patience and I don't cut to chase if the stock doesn't start diluting. If they start diluting, I take my loss. Right. If the story isn't strong enough for me to hold.
Right.
If the story's not strong enough for me to hold, I'll exit. Now, I won't tell people I exited, but I will no longer tweet it. I will no longer put out screenshots of me buying shares, right? I won't do it, because I don't want people to buy it anymore. And if I'm selling, I don't want people to buy it either. I'll take my loss. That's my loss. That's not your loss.
I love this.
Yeah, I do too. Write it down. Write it down, everybody. I hope you're taking notes.
I'm writing.
But so we talked about a lot about what we do during market. We talked about a lot about selling and buying and all that. But what do you do before the market opens? What is your market prep? And also, I think we went through this, but I like music. Do you listen to any music? Do you exercise, some yoga? What music do you listen to, or what do you do to prep for the market?
I don't listen to music to prep for the market. I listen to music when I drive. Sometimes I'm not really a music. I love music.
What's your music?
I love music.
What music?
What's my music?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I grew up in Chicago, right? I didn't grow up in the suburbs. I grew up in Chicago. I grew up actually on Section 8, and we lived in a very poor neighborhood. So we were influenced, like the influence around me when I was younger was a lot of hip hop. And but I'm talking about hip hop, not this music that they play now. I'm talking about hip hop. 90s, early 90s, late 90s, even the 2000s. That was hip hop to me. Now people can call, I don't know what it's called now, mumble rap or mumble rap. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand.
Trap music is trap music.
But that's not right.
The pinky.
That's not what I listen to now, though. I listen to a lot of blues, right? I listen to a lot of soul, like Parliament. I like Parliament. I like the Bee Gees. I like that kind of stuff.
Ooh, I love.
I'm not that old, but I just like it.
Yeah, I like Parliament.
Yeah. Car Wash. I listen to the Car Wash all the time.
Car Wash.
Yeah. But that's not what I listen to when I trade. I don't listen to anything when I trade.
What do you do? What's pre-market for you? Like, how do you prep?
Market prep.
You know what I do to prep for pre-market?
What do you do?
You know how we all have our little chat groups and people that we respect, people that we love, right? People that we trust. I go into those little chats, and my chats, they're like 4 people, 5 people, no bigger than that. And it's I don't have a crew or anything like that, but I have little chats that I go in there and I say good morning. That's my prep. Good morning. Oh. How's everybody doing? How's everybody's? That's my prep, because it's people, right? We're trading with people. I want to see everybody make money, even traders I don't like. There's more traders. I've never disliked so many traders than I have in the last 2 years. It's unbelievable, because people are you're either good and you're nice, or you're not. Yep. Right. So I like to see people make money. I love to see messages from people. And like, again, I'm not changing lives. I'm out there. I trade. I share my ideas, and sometimes you make money off of my ideas, and sometimes you don't. So when I get a message saying, "Hey, I want to thank you for this trade because I was able to do A, B, and C, and it really helped out my family," like that's a big deal. That's a big deal to me.
Right.
And I'm not putting out ideas where people are going out and paying off mortgages. I mean, maybe there are. I don't know. But when you get that from somebody and they tell you, "Hey, listen, my family was in this position and now they're in this position, and because of these ideas that you shared," that's a good goddamn feeling.
Yes.
That's a very, very
The
good feeling.
That's a wonderful.
the best feeling.
And a lot of times, and here's the thing, and people need to understand that when you have, like, I take a sizable position in trades. So, say, most people are buying like 1 million shares. I'm in there, I'm buying 10 or 20 million, right? Or 50 million or whatever. I can't sell the top. I can't. Because if I sell the top and I exit, even if I do it strategically, I'm going to hurt the price. So I have to start scaling at a much lower profit percentage than other people. Now I can hold at the end, like my last 5 million for the top, and exit on a volume catalyst day. But a lot of people, sometimes they'll go in with a smaller amount of shares and do better than me in the trade dollar wise, because I cannot exit a large position without hurting the stock. I will never market sell. I mean, I market sell all the time in the NASDAQ. I'll dump right on them. I don't give a shit. But that's the NASDAQ, right? That's the New York Stock Exchange. That's the big boards. The big boards, you can market sell and you might move the price a quarter of a penny on $100 stock, right? But in the OTC, if I market sell, you know how many people are going to get hurt?
Oh yeah, it's bad.
And why? Why would I do that? Why would I want to hurt anybody, even if I don't like you? I can hate your guts, but if I'm coming out to hurt you and just you, I'm going to hurt 2,000 other people.
Absolutely.
That maybe need that money to pay their light bill, or buy Pampers or whatever, or a Rolex. I don't care what you do, but my beef isn't with you, right? My beef is with this person. So I'm going to market sell because I know this person is in it. Well, why? Okay, I fucked that person over, but I just fucked over 2,000 other people. When I
Yep.
can just scale out, right? I don't like the stock anymore. Let me take this money and be on my way and not hurt anybody, right? Live and let live.
Right.
Unless
And
it's the NASDAQ, then it's a market sell, market sell, market sell. I don't care because I market buy.
yeah.
That's different. And it depends. Is the volume there? Right? I want the most for my money, right? I want the most for even if I don't like the stock and I want out. I'm going to scale out slow so I can make more money or reduce my loss, as opposed to I'm going to just cut this bag and market sell 20 million shares. Fuck them. Why? Why? Why do that? So I could laugh and say, look what I did.
It's
Yeah, look what I did. I hurt all these people and now I'm a piece of shit.
yeah, there's a lot of people like that on FinTwit, sadly.
And you know what? And that's okay because they're part of the market, right? We have to learn to trade around that type of trader. And that's the thing, is you have to adapt. Before that market, where did the market selling come from initially? People blamed what they call furus, right? It's not furus in the beginning. What happened is a lot of big board traders came over to the OTC because they saw all these goddamn gains, right? They saw TSMP run 400,000% or whatever it did, God bless it. They're like, holy shit, these OTC traders are making sick money. What do you do in the NASDAQ if you want to get out? You see your profit, you market sell. You can market sell Tesla all day. Nothing's going to happen, right? That's how they trade. So they came to the OTC like, oh, market sell. And they hit market sell, and then it crashes the price, and they don't realize, right? So, but the vets and the people that have been there, so who's market selling? What's going on? All these, it's the newer traders that didn't know, right? And that's why we started tweeting out or sharing. Listen, guys, scale out on the way up. That market sell doesn't work here. It does not work. You're going to crush the stock because they will pull the goddamn bid. They will pull, the market makers will pull the bid and they'll take it down 80% on a market sell. And then boom, pop it right back up. And you burn nobody but yourself. Because sometimes it works and you get out, and sometimes you end up selling your stock for $2 when you're expecting 20 grand. You know, it's a different game. There's different rules in the OTC.
I'm glad that you said this. Someone needed to say it. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you have traders that market sell and they say, hey, yeah, we dumped. Okay, good for you. If the company is good and they're not diluting, and the story is strong, and the belief in the potential of the company is good, the market will devour that dip and take it and close it green. Right?
It's only an opportunity when someone dumps like
Right.
that.
It's an
And the
opportunity.
evil ones we know of.
Now, if somebody market sells and the company's stupid, right? And the company starts, diluting or shorting, or, market makers will short into dilution. They do that. They know, right? Like when it's time for a note to convert, they'll bring in a market maker that's known for diluting, even if they're not diluting. And that people see that market maker and they'll start dumping. Oh shit. What's her name? Jane or Paul or whatever shows up on the ask. And what does retail do? They're diluting. So they start dumping, and then it starts to look like dilution. And the stock goes all the way down 50%, right? Because they want to convert a note 2 weeks later at 50% of the lowest traded price. So they create that fear, right? They create that fear. They bring the stock down 50%. So now the note converts at 25% of the previous closing price, right? Not 50%, 25%. Then they convert the note. But then when the SS updates, there was no dilution, right? They changed the sentiment. They created fear. So sometimes, when you market sell out of fear, you create opportunity for notes to convert. That it's a lot. It's very complicated, and a lot of people don't understand that if you have one note on the books and the note converts at 50% of the market price, right? It's like, say it's like $10,000. It's nothing. Well, $10,000 at trip one is a lot of fucking shares. But $10,000 at a penny, it ain't shit, right? That'll get devoured. So you market sell, market sell, market sell. They bring in the market maker because they see the market selling. Oh, there goes Paul or Jane or OTCX or whatever, CDL. They're on the top of the ask. That means they're diluting, and that's why it's going down. They'll take it all the way down to 002 from a penny. And then the note holder puts in his paperwork and says, hey, I want to convert because it's cheap now. He's going to get more shares. He'll get a lot more. He'll get 5, 20 times more shares than he would have before the selling started, before the dip happened. And that's when the stock collapses. So if you find a company that you're convicted in, I don't care what the OS is, that you're convicted in and you believe in the management, hold, even if they're bashing. That's how I trade. Because they can bash all day, but if they're not going to if the company is keeping its word, right, and that's rare, but if the company is keeping its word and they are executing on what it is they are saying they are going to do, I will hold that motherfucker for 2 years if I have to. And I will always exit green. So long as they don't break the rule, they don't break the parameters that I have set for that trade.
Trust until you don't trust, and the conviction you need to have in the OTC is key.
Yeah, and try to spot the move before it comes, right? Pay attention, do some work. Don't be lazy. Don't look at, well, all these people are tweeting it. I don't care. Look at the stock. Why are they tweeting it? Do you like what you see? Even if you have to pay 15 or 20% more for that trade, to me, that's a good insurance policy. If I got to buy a stock at a nickel when everybody was alerting it at 3, but I did my IDD and my IDD cost me that 2-cent swing, and I still like it at a nickel, I'll buy it at a nickel. And I don't want the lower entry. Because if I find something that I don't like and I buy it at 3 and it goes to a half a penny, then I'll say to myself, man, I wish I would have taken that 2-cent insurance. Pay a premium, but look at what you're buying first.
Right. All right, Scalpit. So I hope everyone's been writing everything down because you've been going and this is so good. I think you've been dropping major knowledge on all of us and we super appreciate you for being here and taking the time. Before we go to the questions in the audience, I want to tell you that we have a 30-second game for you and you have 30 seconds to tell us which ticker that you're looking at and are excited about and why. And go.
Oh boy. One ticker, right? I'd have to say, and don't buy this ticker because I'm about to mention it. It's PUGE. And the only reason is because this goddamn stock has been doing millions of shares a day for weeks, millions of dollars rather, in trades for weeks. People are bashing it. People are market selling it. People are hating on its share structure, but it keeps closing green. And it's a fatty, and it keeps closing green. The dollars are there. They are buying the hell out of it. The company is active. They can't dilute because of the AS. It's maxed out just about. A lot of acquisitions are coming in. I just find it extremely bullish. Very interesting. If you want to get in, wait for a nice dip, bid the SMA, and make the trade. That's my opinion.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, you guys got that. What's the ticker again before we go to the question?
Huge.
Puge, P-U, and plus he's got a cool name, like
Huge.
Puge. You know, it's one of those stocks where a lot of traders that I respect, right, and I don't really respect a lot of traders, but the traders that I respect, and I'm not going to mention who they are, they're in it, and they're not stupid, right? They're educated. They've been around. They don't promote. I've never seen them promote trash, and they're bullish on it. And it's a fatty, and it's moving. And no matter what they're trying to do to crush it, right? They market sell, or they say it's overvalued, or they talk about the market cap, or whatever. It keeps closing green. So someone's buying the hell out of it, right? Newbies aren't buying the hell out of it because they're afraid because it's getting bashed, but it keeps closing green and with millions of dollars of volume. So I find that interesting, right? There's a trade there, even at on a dip or on something going up, whatever. There's a trade there. The volume is there to get in and get out, to get in and hold it for a dime or a nickel or 3 cents or whatever your target is. I won't say what my target is. There's a trade there because the volume is there. The dollars are there. You want to swing it long or you want to trade it for an overnight. It's there. And no matter what they're doing to try to take it down, it keeps popping. And I find that intriguing. And I'm going to ride this one.
Okay. And then before we go to the audience, West Coast Closer has a question for you really quick, and then we'll get to the audience.
Sure.
Yeah, Scalpit, you said one thing which I'm actually curious about the 5% ownership of a company. So you said that you will stay below that. So I actually am 5% owner of a couple companies right now. I didn't think I had to ever claim that or say
Where do you
that.
live?
How does that work? I'm in Canada.
Okay. Well, here's the
BC.
thing, man. Is it an SEC reporting company?
It's OTC. SEC, not 100%. One of them is a CE, and one of them is another
Here's the
one.
thing.
So
If you own, there's a rule called SEC Rule 144, right? SEC Rule 144 essentially restricts insider trading, or like if you get issued shares for services, or if you're, in lieu of salary, or if, like, say you're a custodian and you spent 40 or 50 grand cleaning up a stock, bringing it back to life, doing the books, paying for OTC markets, and you, in exchange for that, you give yourself like 20 million shares, right? You can't just sell those shares. That's illegal. That pops a Rule 144 violation. You have to wait 6 months or a year or whatever the terms are before you can exit that trade. Also, if you are a 5% owner, and if you notice now, I don't know who uses, I use E-Trade for my trades. I use TDA for my charts. 99% of my trades are in E-Trade. If I go to sell an OTC company now, ever since September 28th, it asks you, and I'm sure everybody's seen this now. This is new. It asks you, by executing this trade, you are confirming that you are not an affiliate of this company, right? Because now Rule 144 prevents you, if you're an affiliate, you have to own 5% or more. So if you own 10% of the OS, I don't care what the float is. It doesn't matter what the float is. If you own 5% or more of the company, you are allowed to sell, but you have to do it. I think it's like it's a very small percentage, 1 or 2% of the average total volume over the last 20 trading days, I believe, is the exit on that. So it's not like if you own, say there's 100 million shares outstanding, right? Forget about the AS, forget about the float. There's 100 million shares outstanding. That's the OS. And you own 5 million shares. You are now an affiliate of the company. So for you to exit, you would have to sell maybe 100,000 shares a day. There's a percentage. I don't know the percentage, so I don't want to put out the wrong information. But there's a certain way to exit, and you cannot just trade it the way you would trade any other company, right? That's Rule 144.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. All mine are common shares. I bought them in the OS on the float. I just go really big. So I do. I was curious when you said that about legally.
I don't know if those rules apply to Canadians, though.
Yeah, and Canadians, a lot of rules don't
Yeah,
apply.
you might be
I'm buying
okay.
stop signs. I'm buying CE.
Yeah, you might be
I'm with
okay on your
RBC in
exit,
Canada.
but
No.
at the same time, and
Yeah.
I've seen you trade. I mean, I haven't seen you trade, but I've seen you on Twitter, right? I've seen you be active on Twitter. You don't seem like a market selling son of a bitch. You know what I mean? I don't know, but you don't seem like one.
Never. I eat money and I will take
Right. You
losses.
take your loss,
And GGI is a perfect
so you know how
example.
to
Yeah, I
exit,
will play for the
right? You'll
team.
exit
Yeah.
properly. I mean, you should be okay because you're Canadian, but anybody that's in the United States, figure out what the OS is and don't buy more than 5% of it, because they might not notice you, right? But if they do notice you, you could get in trouble. You can buy whatever you want, but when it's time to exit and you own more than 5%, there's a way to exit that is legal, and make sure you follow that, because you can't claim ignorance, right? They'll hit you with a fine or whatever. You don't want that. Just be careful. Don't go in too big unless you know and you're familiar with that Rule 144.
All right. Thank you, Scalpit.
Thank you.
Thank you, West Coast Closer. And then we have a question from Black Wall Street. Thank you so much for waiting. I know you have been on there.
Thank you, everybody, for waiting. Hey, Black Wall Street, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me. This actually my first year trading. So I'm sorry if my question might be a little weird, but I found this nice company and I did my due diligence on it, and I realized they've been diluting for like this past year now. So like, is it ever a good time to buy a company when they're maybe at the end of the diluting stages, if you like the story and the progress that they have made over the past year or so?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. So you're telling me you bought this company. They're actively diluting, right?
Yeah.
And do you expect it to end?
Um. So I do expect it to end within the next year or so. I don't mind holding it for about a year and a half.
What's your name, man?
I'm Yashua.
Joshua. Okay, I got to ask you, man. Have you looked at the books? Do you know how to read the books?
Fairly. I wouldn't say
How much debt do
I'm
they
like
have?
how much debt. Well, they've cleared 70% of their debt over the past 9 months,
Okay,
and they increased
and
their revenue from 200,000 to 2 million within the past 9 months, which I thought was impressive.
how red are you?
How right?
How red? How down are you percentage wise?
Percentage? I'm only down like $200 to be honest.
Oh man, hold that shit.
Oh man, I was over here
Hold it.
thinking you're like
Listen.
20 grand down.
Hold it.
Listen, Christine, 20 grand down is normal over here.
Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you
Just
something.
don't be it.
They're gonna put out
92.
press releases. If they went from 200,000 from what you said 200,000 to 2 million,
Yeah.
that's 10% increase. They're clearing their debt. They're 70% done with their debt. If their revenues are increasing, that means they're going to put out PRs because they're as excited as you are, right? They'll pump through the rest of the dilution, which whatever the number may be, and at some point it'll go green, unless they start diluting again. Now they dilute again, and they're making all that money. It's time to go. They go from 200,000 to 2 million, and they start converting more, or they issue more notes. Then they're using that money wrong, right? They increased revenues by $1.8 million. If they issue a note for 10 or 20 grand, it's time to go. Take your loss. But if they're using that money to grow their business, at some point you'll exit green. And being down $200, I think you'll be all right. If you're down $200 and they've diluted 70% of their debt, you're going to be okay.
So how long do a company usually dilute till they out of debt?
No. And a lot of people have a misconception on dilution, right? A company can't just dilute. I don't care who they are, big board or little board. They have to file. They have to request if they're either going to do a Regulation A or an S1, or there's an outstanding convertible note that is eligible for conversion, right? It has matured. If you can show me a company that has zero convertible debt, right? Zero convertible debt. Let's just say it's got a 1 billion AS and there is 800 million shares outstanding and they got 200 million shares in the treasury, right? There's that cushion. And people come out and they start saying, well, they can dilute 200 million. No, they cannot dilute 200 million. That is a lie. They're lying to you. Whoever tells you a company can dilute because there's 200 more million shares in the AS than there is in the OS is lying to you. Unless there is a convertible note that is becoming mature on the books, or unless they file an S1 with the SEC or a Regulation A offering, which you can see under their disclosures. If you go to OTC Markets and you click on disclosure and you open up their last quarterly report and there is no convertible debt and there is no active S1 registration or no active Regulation A, they can increase the AS to 40 trillion and they cannot sell a goddamn share into the market.
All right.
That is a lie. When they increase the AS on any stock, now, they didn't increase the AS because they felt like doing it. They increased the AS because maybe they want to issue shares for an acquisition. Maybe they want to issue shares to insiders, right, in lieu of salary. They can do that, but that doesn't mean they can sell those shares right away. They got to hold those shares because of Rule 144, right? You got to know the rules. So if you see an AS increase, it doesn't mean the price is going to get cut. They double the authorized shares. Well, now the stock is worth half. No, it's not. They can't sell those shares. They can't convert those shares. And if they file an S1 and if they file a Reg A, yes, then dilution is coming. But for them to file the S1 and file the Regulation A or whatever, FINRA has to approve it and the SEC has to approve it. And they're only going to approve it if the company can show to them why they want to sell stock. And it cannot be for a note conversion. You cannot file an S1 to pay off your debt. I mean, you could, but they're not going to approve it. So know the rules. Know the rules, because that shit pisses me off.
I could tell, Scalpit.
Because you know what it is? The problem is people take advantage. People take advantage of newer traders. People take advantage of naive, uneducated. When I say naive or ignorant, that's not an insult. Mm-hmm. I'm ignorant to heart surgery, right? I don't know how to do heart surgery. It doesn't make me stupid.
All right.
That's ignorance. But when you tell people misleading information, then you're a piece of shit, or you're an idiot and you don't know what you're talking about, and you're spreading messed up. You're telling people bullshit that you don't know what you're talking. You can't tell me, oh, they increased the AS to dilute. What are they going to dilute? There's no notes,
right?
There's no active S1. There's no Regulation A. There's nothing. What are you going to dilute? You can't sell that stock. You're going to go to prison. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So no. Yeah, I'm sorry.
We have all these people getting mad at us because they've been waiting.
I'm sorry. I get aggravated.
Scalpit. We can yell at people on another show.
Okay.
I'll have a show.
I'm not yelling at him. The question. I wasn't yelling at Joshua.
I know.
Yeah.
We could just scream into out spaces one day.
Okay.
Next. Hey PB, how you doing? What's up?
What's up, OTC Club?
What's
Hey,
up,
Scout.
PB?
Hey, PB,
What's
what's
up, buddy?
happening, little brother?
Nothing. So, I was just wondering how you talked about earlier. You said, like, you can make stupid money like trading pre-market. So, but you need to know, like, the certain things. So, like, what do you look for when you're scalping pre-market?
Oh, that's more of a, what was the news, right? If the news is about a patent approval, then you missed it. Unless you were in that stock before it popped on a patent approval, you're not going to make money, right? You're going to buy the top and you're going to sell red. If it's an FDA approval and you get in early enough, then you're going to make money, right? It all depends on the news. A lot of times, I'll get into a stock because I know news is coming, right? But I won't buy it once the news is released in pre-market because people have Bloomberg terminals and they get in 10 seconds before I do. And I'm buying their shares at that point. So you got to be very careful in the pre-market. You can make a lot of money in the pre-market if the news is appropriate enough to maintain that momentum into the cash market when it opens at 9:30 New York time, right? So it depends on where you are. So when the market opens, the cash market opens, if the news is strong enough, it will carry into the cash market. If the news is not strong enough and you are not in that stock before the news came out, you're going to get bagged. So be very careful.
Thank you.
Very careful. Watch the
Thank
volume.
you.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
All right, and now
We
we
have Sandra.
have
Right?
Sandra.
Hey,
Hi.
Sandra. Hi.
Can you hear me? Hi, how are you? I kind of want to, it's not a question, it's more a statement. I just wanted to tell Scalpit that I love him and I really appreciate what you do because I'm new to OTC. I trade, well, I was typically trading on big board, but then a couple of stocks led me to OTC and then I found you. But I thank you for being so unemotional because I have never, no disrespect to any of the men on the panel, but seen so many emotional men and through Twitter. So you're totally different and you keep me coming back to OTC. So I just want to say thank you so much for being you.
Well, thank
Thank
you. Thank
you.
you. That's I'm very emotional. But I don't put it out there because it's going to affect other people, right? I mean, I've had days where I'm just very, very, very red, right? And I'm pissed off. But me sharing that is not going to help anybody, right? It's not going to help anybody. It's really it might hurt people because it might hurt the stock. I'll just be quiet and I'll wait. And if I got to take that loss, I'll take it. But when the stock is going and I'm excited, I also don't want to quote unquote pump it, right? Because I can create a false top, or a false spike, and people will get bagged. So I try to maintain, a neutral. I'll show excitement, I'll show dismay, but if you overdo it, it's going to $1 and it's at a penny, people are going to get hurt.
Right.
People are going to get hurt. I might feel that way inside, but if I share it, I'm going to hurt somebody.
Glass half full. Your turn.
There's a trader. Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
There's a trader on Twitter. I consider him family, right?
Mm-hmm.
He don't even talk about stocks. He'll just say random I mean, this guy's probably cleared 80 to 100 million this year flipping options, right? He trades OTC. He trades a lot. He's a quiet trader. Nobody knows really who he is. Very little followers. This guy is a monster. He'll message me all the time, like he'll throw axes like at the wall out of excitement in his house. He's crazy. He's absolutely insane. But he does not show his emotion on Twitter, right? Because it's. I get mad a lot. I get very mad at a lot of things. That's not for social media. You want to vent to your friends. Don't do it publicly. It's unbecoming, in my opinion. It's unbecoming. Don't get into beefs. Don't bash. Just take it like a man or a woman, or whatever, you consider yourself, and trade the trade. Enough with the beefs, enough with the talking shit, enough with the pointing fingers. You pulled that trigger, not me. I could say whatever I want on Twitter.
Thank you for saying that. Everyone write that down as well and put it on your forehead when you're trading.
Please put it
like the girl tattooed Drake on her
yes,
forehead.
exactly.
Wait,
I
what?
will tattoo that on everyone's forehead.
Somebody tattooed a name on her forehead?
Drake.
This girl.
Who's Drake?
Yeah, Drake, right on her forehead. He's a new age rapper, not the hip hop that we know.
All right, and then we have, who do we have here?
and J Current.
Yes.
Hey, Scalpit. I just wanted to start off by saying I appreciate the information that you put out tonight. There's a lot of bullshit that people speak all the time, and I think you really put out some good insight. So I thank you for that. But I want to kind of go back to something you said early on. You talked about euphoria and how you get to that moment where you feel euphoric, and I love that. I love that because I call it my holy shit moment. If I'm saying holy shit on a run, I'm taking profits.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be exiting the position, but that's I'm usually selling some shares there if I'm saying holy shit. So I wanted to kind of flip that on its head a little bit, because let's flip that on its head to dip buying. I've been burned several times, and I know everybody in here has, because there's plenty of memes. I bought the dip, I bought the dip, I bought the dip, and it kept dipping. And I got to a point where I stopped dip buying unless I'm saying, holy shit, right? That opposite of euphoria. So we talked about indicators earlier, and you said, yeah, I use indicators. I look at SMA. Obviously, a lot of traders do. Are you a dip buyer, and what kind of position do you take on dip buying, and what indicators do you use, and is it the same kind of a holy shit moment? Curious your thoughts.
Okay, well, it depends also on what caused the dip, right? And is this an OTC that's dipping, or is this a big board that's dipping?
Fair. Yeah.
Perfect example, right? CEI. The goddamn stock ran from 30 cents to $5, right? A hit piece comes out and it dips from $5 or $4, wherever it dipped from. I think it was like 3 something actually. From 3 to below $1. That's a dip buy to me, because just on technicals alone, it's going to bounce. That's a scalp, right? I scalped it.
Right.
So I bought that dip and I flipped it. And actually, I'm not the one who even caught it. It's a bunch of people caught that dip, right? Now the fear buyers were the ones that the market sellers, the fear sellers, were the ones that followed whoever it was into that trade, right? They see their money disappearing before their eyes. They're inexperienced. They market sold because they wanted to salvage, right, whatever profits they had at the time, right, which is fine. If you're green on that dip, and when it dipped and you're still green, take your profits. Go, get out on CEI or whatever big board. And then guys like me that see that come in, or anybody. A lot of people bought that dip. I think what's his name went fucking massive on it, which was a beautiful trade. John Kent murdered that trade. Hats off to him. He went in there and bought like 1 million shares or whatever it was that he bought, and he killed it. Good for him. I love seeing that. He knew what a lot of experienced traders knew, that it's going to come back. It'll come back.
So let's look at OTC stocks, maybe for example, GVSI or CYBL. I guess for tradable purposes, CYBL would be more relevant until GVSI becomes current. But so CYBL, I got in low dubs, like dub 22, and I scaled out through up through 4.5 cents. And then it dropped down to 3.
That's a beautiful.
And I got back in for a small amount, wrote it back up through 6 cents. It dropped back down below 3 cents. And I mean, you saw bid support come in. This is what I did. I said, if I'm holding shares and it's 6.6 cents, or I'm sorry, 0.066, and then it gets pretty much crushed below 3 in a 2-day period, and RSI goes from like, daily in 90 to on the 5-day, you're looking at, it's below 30, and you could see huge bid support come in. That's a holy shit moment, right, for me.
Absolutely.
And that's where I'm picking up shares.
As you should.
From an OTC standpoint, what those are things I look for. Are there things that you look for, maybe that would help other people or myself to identify that aren't so? I mean, that's dramatic, right? That's a dramatic shift.
It is. It is,
and that's one that I think is really easy to pick up on. But there are more subtle dips that.
Oh, he must have cut off.
I'm gonna respond to his question. I know what he was asking.
Okay.
It depends on the company, right? Like CYBL, I fucked that trade up, right? I was given that stock at 002, 003 by somebody that I trust very much. And I loaded like 10 or 20 million shares at that price. It was ridiculous. And I exited green. I did well in the trade. That dip, right, is different than the dip in a company that decides to dump 100 million shares into the market. So what caused the dip? Profit taking, fear, bashing, somebody with a large position, market sold, and then started bashing, blah, 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 blah. If they're not diluting and the company is legit and the company is active and the company has a business plan and a legit story to tell or whatever, it will bounce. That is a dip I would buy, right? CYBL, government contract. I'm not in the stock anymore, right? And I regret not being in the stock anymore from my entry. CYBL has government contracts. They're not diluting. They're not going to reverse split. They're not going to, all those things that we like to hear. And they're active. They're engaging their shareholders. They're updating people. That stock dips. It's artificial to me. Profit taking, fully expected, right? Expected and understandable. You're up 2,000, 3,000%. Take your fucking gains. Don't hold it for. Take some gains, right? So it's going to dip for that reason. Someone with a massive position decides to market, sell, and bash. Okay, it's going to dip. I'm sitting at the 100 day. I'm sitting at the 200 day or the 50, whatever. Depends on volume. I'll buy that dip. So why did it dip, right? OTC's dip for one of two reasons. Either the company's a piece of shit or people are taking profits. And there's fictitious, fear flowing. That's it. Actually, not just OTC. Any equity trade, any securities trade. An offering, right? That's dilution. It'll cause a massive dip. A note converting, massive dip. How big is the note? When is it going to stop? At what rate does it convert? You got to look at all that in the OTC. It's not just, momentum. It's not just Momo and FOMO and, all that stuff. No, you have to look at our shares being sold. So that question, really, you have to answer it by doing a little bit of due diligence. And it doesn't take long. It takes you like 7 to 10 minutes to look at the books. Why did it dip because of notes converting today? Did a market maker show up to scare retail, to scare traders, to cause a dip so that the note can convert at a lower rate? So they can get more shares to dump into the market? Or did it dip because, it's up, the RSI is like 4,000, the stock is up 20,000%, and people are taking profits? So what, you have to evaluate all of that. And that comes with time. It comes with watching the tape. There's certain things, I would love to share, and I don't have much time. I want people to look for numbers in the tape. 28, 125, 37, 500, 22, 500. Those are blocks. Those are market maker blocks. Watch the tape. You'll know. You can learn to spot shorting. You can learn to spot dilution. Know who's on the ask. If there's no note on the book and there's no unrestricted becoming there's no restricted becoming unrestricted, and you're seeing blocks of 37,500 from CDEL, that motherfucker is shorting the stock down. Those are the things that you learn when you watch the tape. Watch the tape. Know the size of the trades coming through. Know what is fear and know what is retail and know what is short.
Yes.
Learn that.
Thank you, Scalpit. You guys, we have one last question, and I'm so sorry for everyone that is still requesting. We have so many people, but we have run out of time. And also, we've been like approving people, but it's sending people back down. So I think something's wrong with that. Scalpit, you're freaking popular, bro. Like, there's like 10 people waiting all the time.
Of course,
I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised.
I'm not.
Awesome. We have one more question. Oh,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Rue.
Nah, I just seen Scott. I had a lot to ask you today, but I'll let everybody else go ahead. But you're the man. That's all I have to say about that. I do want to know your opinion around NFTs. I seen a post about your opinion around it. I would like to talk about it a
On
little
what?
bit.
NFTs, not fudge.
NFTs.
Okay. Look, what's the crypto that's running right now? It's up like stupid amount of money.
Cheap.
You know, I sold that stock at that crypto at a loss.
Ooh.
Probably 34 or 36 hours before it popped 500%.
What?
I cried.
Because I don't understand it. I do not understand it. I don't understand. Crypto is sentiment, right? It's a what's the next pump? That's crypto to me. Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin I can kind of understand because it's traded on futures and people are leveraging it against other commodities like oil and gold or the S&P or whatever. It's also sentiment, but there's a global demand on it, right? It's traded on the futures market, so I kind of understand the trade. Like Bitcoin is a technical trade to me, but you bring me like an NFT or a SHIB coin or what, I will lose 11 out of 10 trades because I don't understand it. And so if I don't want to give you an opinion on it, because you're probably going to, if you do the opposite of what I tell you, you'll make money. I just don't, it's beyond me. I believe there is a massive market for NFTs. It is the wave of the future. Kids are going to make a ton of money, probably trading in NFTs. There'll be a demand for them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There's money everywhere. If I can find money in equities or in futures or in commodities or whatever, I'll make my money there because I understand that market way more than I understand NFTs and crypto. Is there money there? Yeah, there's money there. Whoever bought SHIB coin 2 weeks ago is up 5, 6. I don't know what it is, but they're up huge. Good for them, and I'm glad they made money. I just don't understand it, and I don't want to understand it honestly because I know how to make money elsewhere.
Right. Well, if you want to understand NFTs, we have a new show that's starting on Thursdays, our NFT, our Rare Hunter Thursdays.
I'm going to listen to it because even if I'm not going to trade it, I should know it because a lot of these OTC companies are going into it. And I know what I Googled it, so I know what a non-fungible token is, right? It's a digital fingerprint of something of a picture or an idea or whatever. Great. I get it. I don't know how to trade it. I don't know how to buy it. I don't have to, but I should understand it, right? Because there's a market for it.
That's good you're open to it. And I think the reason why a lot of OTCs are going into it, real quick, I'll say, is a lot of just like even real estate is they're already looking into being like on NFT, and just because it's all about ownership and being on a blockchain. But I think they introduced it, NFT, the NFTs introduced it as like, art ownership, like original licensing and ownership. And now real estate and everything else is falling into place with NFTs. But yeah, so Thursdays, you guys can check us out if you ever want to stop by. It's NFT Thursdays.
And if you look at the top, you can see the list of all our shows that are currently in rotation.
Yes.
Check it out.
And Scalpit, we want to say thank you so much. We went way over our hour, but we enjoyed it so much, and we recorded this, so this will be out sometime next week. Thank you guys, and thank you Scalpit for dropping so much knowledge here.
Can I say something real quick before you guys shut it down?
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, I just want to get one message across. Everybody is in this market to make money, right? Some people do it out of greed. They want to buy, things that they don't need, right? Some people do it because they want to pay their mortgage, or they want to move their family out of a shit neighborhood, or they want to leave their job where they feel, underappreciated or underpaid. Nobody is in this. Nobody should be in this to hurt other people. So if you can help each other trade, help each other. Don't share information that is untrue, because you're going to hurt somebody that's probably trying to do something right for their family, or for themselves. If there's a trade that's going through the roof and I think it's taking money out of a trade that I'm trying to make money off of, I'm not going to hate on that trade. I'll let that trade that everybody's making money on run its cycle and let those people make a lot of money. I'm not going to bash it. I will wait my turn, and everybody should wait. If they have conviction, wait. And if your company and if your DD is strong enough, you will make money. Stop fighting, stop hating each other. It's ugly. It's ugly, and it hurts people.
Pointless.
It's pointless.
Can,
Just
can I say one thing, Christine? I'm done after
Go
that. I'm
ahead.
so sorry. I just wanted to make a point to that, because I think a lot of people don't realize he has a great point. Because when these people make money, if you're in good trades that might not be active at the moment, that's liquidity in the market. At the end of the day, it will go back to cycle in there, and that's what causes continuation. Y'all realize why the market dies sometimes is because it's a lack of liquidity. But you get angry because it's red. But when these people are making money, it's a benefit for you. You might not be benefiting at the moment, but it's important that money is circulating and people are making money, because they're going to bring it back to the market.
exactly,
So it's not a bad
exactly,
thing.
and it attracts more money to the OTC. TSMP, right? Humble.
Mm-hmm.
That created a massive, massive, influx of money into the OTC. Who benefited? Who benefited? We all did. We all made money because of TSMP or Humble or whatever it's called now. Even if you weren't in that stock, there's some green in your goddamn portfolio because of that stock bringing more money to the OTC. And the more runners that happen in the OTC, the more money will come into the OTC. And we're already here, right? So they're going to be buying our shares. All the new money is going to be buying our shares.
Slap them up.
So stop hating on each other. I mean, just wait. You don't like the trade, exit and go. Don't waste your time and energy being ugly, because it's ugly, and it's ugly for everybody.
Exactly.
Scalpit, you nailed it, man. And Crown, and Christine, Doll, you guys know it too. I speak the same volume. Is guys like you and other vets and other young guys, the drama is not worth it, guys. I said that on my spaces on Wednesday. It's just toxic. Just respect what you're doing. If you see red, buy it. If you don't see it, if you see a bad ticker, don't talk about it. If you don't like it, don't talk about it. Love you guys.
Love you too.
Thank you. My spaces might not be Wednesday. It might be a different day. I'm heading out on vacation. So
we'll talk about it.
We'll update.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming to the OTC Club. It's pinned at the top. So if you want to come to one of our shows, go ahead and check out that pinned message. And we will see you on Wednesday or another day for West Coast Wednesday. And then we will also see you on Thursday for NFT Thursday, and Friday for Crypto, and Sunday with who, Christine?
On Sunday, yeah. We'll announce everything. Everyone's probably who's like, what day?
Okay, let me write this down. That's why I pinned it. All right, go ahead and check it out and follow all your hosts and follow Scalpit. And thank you so much, Scalpit. And hit that reminder.
Yes, thank you, Scalpit. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful week, and I hope you guys kill it trading this week. Thank you.
Let's go.
Scalpit, I got no shame. Follow back.
Oh, yeah, he does not. No.
Who was that? Who was that? That I don't.
That's Matt.
It's West Coast
Matt will
I don't follow you.
He does not care.
Yeah, I've been following and unfollowing you for a bit.
Oh, that's not for you. He has no shame.
Hey,
you know what it is,
anyway,
man? I just, I just,
you get so many.
I don't follow many people. I just don't.
It's okay. Either do I. I follow 89 people.
There you go.
And you're one
That's
of
another
them.
thing. Stop following
them.
them. You know what I mean? Nobody don't follow 5,000 people.
No one. Follow only value.
Absolutely.
Value.
Oh, God.
Okay.
Don't
listen,
block
we
your
probably
feed.
all of us probably lost like 30 followers just now. Thank you very much. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night, everybody. See y'all tomorrow.